Hey guys, and welcome to Stock Talk on August 28th. Now, if you guys were watching the markets like I was today, and you looked at intraday SPY or the S&P 500, which looks at general market movement, we pretty much had a flat day. We had 50% of my stocks in my list went higher, the other 50% went lower, and that's just how it is. We went flat, but recall what we said in previous videos, right? In the last video, I gave you guys a higher high line that could act as a resistance. That line is situated right now at 291 to 292. Today, we actually, in the early morning hours, we hit 290.56, which is close to 291 to 292, but it's not there yet. Regardless, we talked about the overall notion of the markets. What is the overall, feeling of the markets? Markets are continuing to be bullish. We can certainly go sideways. We can go a little bit higher near the resistance area, or we could come down lower to the 20-period moving average, right? Those are perfectly normal scenarios, but in a bull market, if it comes down, what do? We buy on the dip, right? And this story has been told in past videos. It has been told several times in past videos, and this continues to be the case. So markets, nothing wrong with it right now. We're continuing sideways, up, even going down a little. The story hasn't changed. What am I looking for in the near future? Those are the three opportunities. Whether it goes up higher or sideways, that's perfectly fine with me. If it goes lower, I'll add more once I see that bottom. So that's just how that is. Looking at volatility, TVIX. Really, guys, right now, the analysis is really making it easy for us because the market is giving us this story. And the story is really, not confusing at all. So here is volatility right now. So volatility for the most part today was actually fluctuating in the positive while the markets were in the positive as well. But we saw that yesterday too. We did close a little bit on the even side. So that's perfectly fine. What is volatility doing? People are waiting for that downturn. But right now, today, the markets didn't really do much, right? We didn't have a major sell-off. Whether that occurs, after the Labor Day weekend or, sometime afterwards, we'll visit it when it gets there. But right now, volatility stationary, markets pretty much going higher or stationary. That could be telling a story in which, volatility isn't willing to dip as markets are going higher because people are expecting what? That massive downturn. But it certainly hasn't happened yet. All right. Let's take a look at a couple of your commodities, of course. So guys, before I continue on further, please hit that like button if you enjoy these stock talks during the weekdays or that weekend, Sunday. I do it for you guys, and hopefully you guys do benefit and enjoy some of these trends that I talk about. In the meantime, we're going to be taking a look at crude oil. So crude oil, right? We talked about a resistance area at $69. Now, you guys might be asking, well, Kevin, didn't you say yesterday crude oil was bullish? But look, crude oil went down today. You were wrong. Well, here's the thing. We have a resistance at $69. We don't have to get through that resistance area in one day, right? What can we do? We can consolidate sideways before another push higher. Doesn't mean that it will go higher. We can certainly get rejected and continue on lower. But what we're seeing right now is a consolidation pattern sideways for a possible another leg higher. And that's just how it is. Now, if you were asking me if I were to, invest in crude oil or the ticker UWT, would I be going into crude oil right now? And the answer would probably be no, right? And because why? Because this was the definitive area of support, right? And this is where my white line is. Where are we right now? We're, pretty far up from my white line. Obviously, I'm not going to go into it right now. However, if you were to take it to trade, you have to know where you're wrong, right? The probable trajectory is probably crossing the resistance as what we can see right now, but it certainly doesn't have to. All right. Let's take a look at /NG or natural gas. Here's natural gas, right? We're looking at the yearly chart. We've had a very defined resistance at 2.988 that we've been talking about pretty much every single day. We hit it, and now we're coming on down. Now, you guys can see that this, I have a white line here as support at 2.714. So you might be like, Kevin, look, it's time for me to go into inverse natural gas, right? Which is DGAZ. As natural gas goes lower, inverse natural gas will go higher. That ticker is DGAZ. Well, the thing about that is, what was the best time to take an inverse natural gas position? Well, it has to be at the resistance. Now the question is, we're going lower. Sure, is this a predictable pattern? Yes, it is predictable. So while there is potential for DGAZ to continue lower, and the probable trajectory probable trajectory for natural gas is lower, while DGAZ is going to climb, right? The question is, if it goes up a little, are you going to be scared out of the trade? Or if we see a definitive natural gas reversal back to the upside, that's just something for you guys to consider. Of course, you're weighing your risk as you're investing in these ETFs. So here's DGAZ. Here's the defined support, right? You guys can see how it's inversely correlated with natural gas. And you guys can see the support is around 2050 to 2060. And now we're pushing higher as we expect, right? So that's just something for you guys to keep in mind. Now, the next commodity I want to talk about is 4/GC. And guys, we have a course that is being rolled out in the next few days, so be on the lookout for that. It's very exciting. You guys will get even more technical analysis, like some trends that I'm looking at. You will get deep into my mind and see what I see, and especially once you finish the course, you'll get those private stock talks. You'll have over 10 hours of video lectures about the different trends that I look at and how to analyze those trends, and monthly tickers. There's just a lot of content in there, so be on the lookout for that. All right, enough of that. Let's get to gold futures. Gold futures. We talked about a near-term resistance at 1218.4. And this one is one that is becoming dangerous to trade, in my opinion. And it's getting very risky because we're at the point in which, we got rejected at the resistance area, right? And the probable trajectory could be back up. It could be back down. It's a 50-50 trade right now. We have a definitive reversal right now. However, we're hedging our bet that we would be crossing this resistance. And right now, we don't have that sign of crossing. As you guys can see, we had a massive rejection off that area. So why is it dangerous? Because the ticker you would be looking into to invest in gold would perhaps be JNUG, right? There's other tickers as well, but JNUG, you guys can see if I just drew this, was net down almost 12% from its peak. It's very dangerous at that point because at one point you might be thinking we might be crossing the resistance, and all of a sudden we drop 12%. And then at the end of the day, we recover 3.5% back. This is really volatile movement, and to be honest, that is pretty hard to predict. You could have said I could have traded against the resistance. That is one trade that you could have done if you really wanted to, but you guys can imagine you have to be very disciplined in the trade if that occurs. If you guys were in JNUG, you had to be very disciplined in terms of setting a stop loss at that point. So, there's JNUG right now, so just be careful with these ETFs. All right, let's take a look at a couple of your tickers. We will start with the Facebook ticker. Not Facebook, but thank you for submitting it off of Facebook. It is Shopify or Shop. So with Shopify, you guys can see that this trend has been rather predictable as well. We've been carrying weight on the 200 period moving average every single time, and this time, we've had a reversal signal at least temporarily. So Shopify, it looks good with this chart. I don't see anything wrong with this chart. And there's potential for this one to move higher. Expect a near-term resistance around $150, but we still have potential for this one to move higher. If we cross the 150 area, in my opinion, look for significantly higher prices to come. So whoever called that out, good job. Thank you for pointing this one out. All right, Rizwan. I want to go long on Bank of America. What is the great entry, your opinion first? Okay, so Bank of America, if you were to go long on this one, you have to know that there is a resistance, and this is quite obvious. This resistance is at 31.86. So if you really wanted to go long on it right now, right now I can't say that you're at the best buying opportunity. However, if you wanted to, and it depends on how long you're wishing to go long. If you're wishing to go long, for a year, perfectly fine at this point, right? Who cares about 31.27? If it comes down, you can certainly add more in. So I think for long-term investment, I think this is fine. Shorter term, you might be in for some turbulence in the near future. Just be in the lookout for that. So, that's just your decision right there. Luis, let's take a look at Cisco. Previous consolidation, all-time high. What are my thoughts? Ah, interesting. Sold off for spec higher. Yeah, so I think for Cisco, the one thing I really want a confirmation of is a retest of this 4631 area. I really need it to come down and say, hey, this is the support area and we're going to go higher. But right now, you know, if this goes higher, that's I'm perfectly, in my opinion, willing to be out of this trade. Yeah, I know we crossed the resistance, you know, so you know, it looks bullish. However, I need more information after we broke the resistance. All right, interesting trend. K9, can I talk about IQ? Certainly. So IQ. All right. So IQ is looking a little better right now. And you guys can see that we consolidated for a couple of days and then we had an up move. Today we had, you know, this looks like a down, quite a dramatic down move. This was only a 2% move. So it wasn't all that much. Let me take a look at intraday. What happened? Okay. So it wasn't all that much. And I think IQ, it's all right. I mean, it's getting to the point in which if you really wanted to take a position, you could. But a lot of this also hinges on the fact of those trade deals and trade negotiations. So news can really alter these Chinese stocks right now, and whichever direction it goes, I mean, it could go higher. The probable trajectory is probably higher right now, but you know, it's up to you. It's not my favorite one, as you guys can see, but if you really wanted to get in, you know, guess you could. Addy boy, QCOM, after today's move, looks great. Your opinion on it, please. It looks great. So today we had a massive up move of 3.62%. This is one where, yeah, you know, this does look pretty good in my opinion. I think this one has potential to move even higher. Let's actually take a look at the longer term trend and see what's going on here. Okay. So we closed up here. No, pretty good. I would really want to see a close over 70.58 or even $71. And that's really not that far away. That's less than $1 away, guys. So I would be a little more patient, wait for that close over that area before looking at this one. Because as you guys can imagine, you know, what happens, you know, we're looking at weekly candles, but if I take you guys to the yearly chart, right, what happens if we do come down, you know, consolidate in this area? What are you going to do at that point, right, if you buy in right now? And that's just, are you going to sell it? You know, that you're putting yourself in a difficult spot after at that point. Always Sunny in KC, thank you for your comment, and we're using the Thinkorswim platform. I did answer your question on YouTube as well, so thank you for joining this channel. I love new subscribers, or just, you know, you don't even have to subscribe. You just come in, watch these videos, see if it helps. If it helps you, great. You know, continue watching these videos. If it doesn't, no problem, no harm, no foul, right? All right, so thank you, Kevin. I'm interested in AG, so let's take a look at this one. Right, AG. Oh, this is right, not looking that good anymore, right? So the one thing that we see right now is this really big sell-off. So we don't see a reversal, definitive reversal signal right now. Perhaps if we do another bottom at $5.24, that will point us to a better sign of an uptrend. But right now, it's just not the right time, in my opinion, to be going into this one right now, as this one is on a downtrend. Let's take a look at the 3-year. Yeah, so this is on a downtrend, you guys can see, and looks right now, it looks like lower prices are to come for AG. All right, thank you for your submission. Luis MU, bullish trajectory, 90% return when I bought call option. Congratulations, Luis. So MU, this is one that I have been actually investing in as well. So MU, Micron Technology, remember we talked about a break of pattern, but now we've held the support area at 45.89, and now what are we doing? We're back on the uptrend. This looks like a very nice definitive pattern. Great job, Luis. Once again, I think you've called a couple of tickers that look really interesting. So yeah, remember MU was the stock to watch in the month of June or July, I believe. And guys, when I say the stock to watch and it breaks the pattern, we don't revisit it. However, if it doesn't manage to recover, the stocks that I point out generally are solid stocks. I'm not going to give you guys things like penny stocks or stocks that are going to be extremely volatile, right? I mean, we like solid patterns certainly, but we also want solid fundamentals as well as solid companies that are going to, you know, potentially outperform the market. So this is a very solid pattern. Good job, Luis. Tam, what about Tesla? Here lies the problem with Tesla. We've talked about this many times. It's just all this news revolving around Tesla. Tesla's going private. Tesla's not going private. And all of a sudden, Tesla's not going private now. And now what's happening? We're going lower, right? So, you know, regardless of what's happening, right, there's too much news items moving this one. And I don't want to play my chances on a news item coming out, you know, because I don't know what news item is going to come out. Who knows what's going to happen with this? So in my opinion, you can see technicals erratic pattern. If you wanted to really trade, you know, the opportune, you know, time, if you really want to get in, is $300 if you have belief in this company, about the future of this company. If you don't, then you probably should wait for it to play out. So once again, if you really feel like this company has potential 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now, this is a solid keep in my opinion. But in the short term, too many news. All right, Eris Toof, thanks for your analysis. You're welcome. What do you think about the bearish rising wedge pattern? And you guys, so of the QQQs. So here is this. And one can say, you know, it might be temporarily bearish, you know, but I can say that it's already, guys, it's already broken out of its previous highs, right? And how can you say it's a bearish wedge when we're making all-time highs? It is really, you know, mind-boggling to me that, you know, that this is going to play out significantly to the downside, at least right now. It's just, that's just not going to happen when we're making all-time highs. It's almost saying that Apple, we're making all-time highs and we're gonna come down at some point, right? I just want to show you guys Apple right now. I'm not saying that you're saying that right now, but you know, I'm not saying that you're saying that right now. I'm just saying that, you know, chances are what goes higher, as you guys can see, are making all-time highs, will probably continue to be making all-time highs. If you guys looked at stocks last year, Apple was probably making an all-time high last year. It's making an all-time high this year. We can make the same argument every year, and that's just not gonna work for investing, in my opinion. All right, Zhang, thank you once again for your comment. How can you be so good? All right, and then that's it for this video, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed these stock talks. You learned something from these stock talks, and there's a lot more to learn in the course once it's released. See you guys Wednesday for another stock talk, and of course, happy trading.